This little video is on reading a micrometer and then using it to actually measure an actual object, so you understand the proper procedure for doing that and figuring out your reading. So first of all, you should have watched the other two little videos first, the one that names the parts. So I'll just, a quick review here. We have frame, sleeve, thimble. The thimble is the moving part here that rotates. Then you have the ratchet, which we use to tighten the thimble towards the object. Then we have the locking screw or locking mechanism. This is the spindle that moves in and out as we turn the thimble. And then the anvil. So on the frame, there's a measurement scale. This one's a 2 to 3, this one's a 3 to 4. So like I said, this is a 2 to 3 inch micrometer, so it will measure, this micrometer can be used to measure anything from 2 inches to 3 inches, this one from 3 inches to 4 inches, so forth. So the first thing we got to do is make sure you understand decimals and fractions. So 1/10 of an inch is decimal 1, 1/100th, decimal 0.1, 1/1000th, decimal 0.001, 1/10,000th, decimal 0.001. If you notice, tenths, 1 0, look, 1 decimal place. Hundredths, 2 zeros, 2 decimal places. Thousandths, 3 zeros, 3 decimal places. 10,000ths, 4 zeros, 4 decimal places. So there's a little rule you can use to remember the connection between fractions and decimals. That is very important. Also, when we figure out our answer, it's very important to keep our columns straight, so all our rows and columns line up properly, so we don't make a mistake due to the decimal place in our answer. Okay, so now that we know what the frame does, let's look at the sleeve. And on the sleeve, you have numbers from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 0 again on the sleeve. That is 1 inch. Okay? That's 1 inch. Now, between each of, so if that's 1 inch and there's 10 parts to it, that means that would be 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I was going to use 1/10, that would be 0.1. All right? So that's why I had to show you this part, how this connection. Because we're reading in tenths here, but when we write down our answer, it's as a decimal. So we have to understand the relationship between fractions and decimals. Okay? So we have tenths, which are these numbers, and in between each of those numbers are these little lines. Okay? And they are thousandths of an inch. Thousandths. So if we look here, thousandths, 3 decimal places. Alright? Now, how many thousandths is each one of these little lines worth? Each one is worth 25 thousandths of an inch. So there's that first distance from the 0 to that first line right there. That's 25 thousandths of an inch. The distance from 0 to the second line would be a total of 50 thousandths of an inch. The distance from the 0 to the third line would be 75 thousandths of an inch. So as a decimal, all right, if we had 25 thou, that would equal 0.025. If we had 50 thou, that would equal 0.050. Nope, don't forget the inch symbol. That symbol means inches, by the way. And then if we had 75 thousandths of an inch, 0.075 inches. All right. See the connection there? And notice 3 decimal places, because 3 zeros. So that is what each one of those tiny little spaces is worth in there. All right. Each one of those is worth 25 thousandths of an inch. Then we go to the next tenth. Then we have more 25 thousandths inch spaces, then another tenth. And it goes on and on and on like that until we get to the thimble. And on the thimble, I'm going to turn this in one rotation here. on purpose because I want to show you something. All right, right to there. There's 0. Now I'm gonna start to turn. There's 0, and I'm gonna start to turn this. And notice though, as I turn this, let me get up close here. Right now, there's a vertical line. See, there's 9/10 of an inch. Then there's a 25 thou space, and then another 25 thou space. Now watch what happens when I turn this thimble once around. By the way, each of these spaces on the thimble, each of these larger spaces, is 1/1000th of an inch. 1/1000th of an inch. That is 1/1000th of an inch, which is 0.001 inches. So if I turn that to the first thou, there, I'm on the first big line, so that's 1 thou, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. All right, continue on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's marked. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Marked again. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Marked. And 21, 22, 23, 24, and back to 0. So that means one rotation of this thimble equals 25 thousandths of an inch, which is 0.025 inches. Now, that is the exact same amount in one of those little spaces between each of these we talked about. So what that means is if I rotate this, how many are showing there right now? If you look right here, 1, 2, 3 spaces. If I rotate this thimble back one full rotation, it's going to cover up one of those full spaces. Did you see that? I'm going to go back another one. Watch, another space will disappear. Another full 25 thou will disappear. See, it disappeared. Now let's do it again. See, each time I do that, it moved the thimble across the sleeve here 25 thousandths of an inch to either, that covered it up. Now if I go this way, it'll expose it. If I go once around, there, it exposed a full 25 thou. Go again, it'll expose another full 25 thousandths of an inch. So that means one rotation of this is the equivalent of either exposing or covering up 25 thou on the sleeve. All right? Between the full 1,000, I said this was up to the first mark. I said each one of these was 1/1000th of an inch. And see how there's a half one in between? A half one, a half one, a half one, and so forth, all the way around. So that's half of 1 thou. We don't really need to worry about that right now at this moment. Okay? I just want to first make sure you understand how the relationship between turning this thimble and the sleeve. Now, the hard part to understand about this is when I'm making my actual reading, how to explain this. I'm not going to explain this yet. I'm going to have to make another short little video to show you how to actually then figure out the readings so it makes sense, because there's a lot of information here. I don't want to lose you. So that is the frame we've taken care of, the sleeve, and the thimble. Now let's say I took a reading, I put a part in between here, and I turned the ratchet till it went click click, and then I tightened it, and it was sitting right like that. It was sitting right like that. So there's 20, 21, 22, 23, 23 and a half. Okay? In a case like this, since it doesn't line up directly to one of the big marks, like 21, 22, 23, 24, it's in between, all right? What we do is we always round down, okay? We always round down. So I'm just going to change it a little bit to make this a little more clear to understand. There. Okay. All right. Here's 20, 21, 22, 23. So it's at 23 thousandths of an inch. See this line, on the 0 line going across here? That's very important. That's called the datum line. So since my line on the thimble does not line up directly to the line on the sleeve, okay, I need to add an extra step to my reading. And that is this, which is called the vernier scale up here. Alright? So that's the vernier scale, and each one of these is worth 1/10,000th of an inch. Alright? 1/10,000th of an inch, which is the same as decimal 0.0001 inches. Alright? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes up to 5. So we got the vernier scale, which is 10,000ths of an inch. We have the thimble scale, which is in thousandths of an inch. We have the sleeve, which is in thousandths of an inch between each of these tenths. So we got tenths of an inch and thousandths of an inch. And each one of these is 25 thou, each of these little spaces in here. And then of course we have the frame, which is full inches. So I'm gonna have to make another little video of actually reading a part with it, because it is quite complicated and I don't want to make this longer than it has to be each step. So in this video, the main thing I want you to understand is you have full inches, you have tenths of an inch on the sleeve, and then also 25 thou inch divisions on the sleeve. Then you have your thimble measurement, which is just thousandths of an inch. And then you have your vernier scale, which is also on the sleeve, which is 10,000ths of an inch. So there's a lot of reading. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to reading this. Okay, so that's what the next video will be about.